What's up, everybody? I'm Josh Meek, the Uber Geek. Welcome to This Week in Magic for Sunday, March 25th. Now, a lot has happened in the world of Magic the Gathering this week, so let's jump right into all of the news. And we're going to start with the thing that I'm most excited about from this week. That's the announcement of the new casual format called Brawl. Now, Wizards has been talking about a new way to play that is coming with Dominaria ever since the leak of the release notes. They've been kind of teasing that, and they laid out exactly what this format is this week. And basically, Brawl is a commander version, commander variant, that uses the cards that are legal in Standard. It was started by Garrett Turner, who is a senior brand narrative designer at Wizards, and he started this for his own personal play group, just something they were trying out, a standard version of Commander. It got adopted at Wizards of the Coast. They've been playtesting it internally, and now finally they've kind of laid it out to the community as a whole, kind of presented it out to us to say, hey, go try this, go check it out, let us know what you think. The rules are pretty simple if you've ever played Commander. So just like with Commander, you pick a legendary creature to be your commander, but the addition here is that you can also pick a legendary planeswalker in Brawl. So you start out, you pick a legendary creature or legendary planeswalker to be your commander. He'll be in the command zone. You'll be able to cast them throughout the game. The command tax, where it costs 2 more for each time you've cast it during the game, is still in effect. It's all the same commander rules as far as your commander itself goes. And the color identity rule from Commander is also here, so you can only use cards that are in your Commander's color identity. So if you're picking a mono red Commander, you can only play red cards or colorless cards. And the big change from Commander is that this is a 60 card deck instead of a 100 card deck. However, the deck is still singleton, so you can still have just 1 copy of each card aside from basic lands. And you start with 30 life in Brawl instead of the 40 life in Commander. So it's kind of like, it's just like Commander, just a baby version of Commander with smaller decks because the card pool is smaller. It's just standard legal cards in Brawl. And my opinion, this is absolutely genius. The more that I think about Brawl, the more I think about the cards that are going to be in Brawl, the more I'm excited about this format. Instead of being kind of like baby Commander, like some people have taken it, where they've been complaining, saying they're going to stick to Commander, they like that Commander is an eternal format, all that's great, and I love Commander for those reasons as well. I've been thinking about this as kind of more of just a casual Standard. You know, Standard can be a very competitive environment and an expensive environment. All the best cards that you want to play in Standard, you need 4 of typically, and that can get very pricey. This is, it kind of does away with all of that. It adds kind of creativity to Standard that maybe isn't necessarily there. And now, when you're drafting, that sweet card that you first picked in draft can become the focal point for your Brawl deck. You don't need 4 ofs. Even if you want to put the best cards in Standard in your deck, you only need to shell out the cash for 1 of them because of the singleton nature of the format. And it also shines a light on cards that otherwise you wouldn't have played in any other format kind of outside of draft. Because, you know, because of singleton, you have to go pretty wide with what you're doing. So you can let some cards shine that wouldn't otherwise have made it. And commanders that maybe just aren't quite there for actual Commander can really be awesome here in this format. You know, a perfect example are the tribes from Ixalan. Pirates, dinosaurs are awesome. We have some really awesome legendary creatures in both of those tribes. But in actual Commander, they're just maybe not quite there because we just don't have enough of those creatures. You know, they're very new, so it's not a long history of Magic producing creatures that we can pull from. We basically just have a couple sets worth. However, in Brawl, pirates and dinosaurs are rife for the picking. There's tons of options for your 60-card deck, and you can make a really cool deck out of those tribes that, again, you maybe wouldn't be able to make the most competitive Commander deck out of. In fact, I've brewed up what I think is a pretty sweet Geshath Sun's Avatar deck. Just jam in all of my favorite dinosaurs from Standard. Again, cards that I haven't played outside of Draft because they just haven't really been viable. But here, because of Singleton, because of some of the cool stuff I can do in this deck, it's really fun, it's really cool, and I get to play all of these awesome dinosaurs. As I said, it's really bringing the creativity and fun of Commander, and it's making it more accessible. It's giving you a reason to brew new decks when Standard rotates, when new sets come into Standard. You can really start thinking about updating your Brawl decks and which of these commanders and planeswalkers you want to be your new Brawl commander. And it lets you play a planeswalker as a commander, which is something I've wanted to do in Commander for a very long time. So it opens up all these new avenues of deck building. You can build around these planeswalker cards that you maybe haven't had a chance to yet. And I'm so excited about kind of the future of Brawl. I'm definitely going to build several decks and force all my friends to try it out with me because it is super cool. There's a lot going on, I think, in this format. And, Commander's popularity has skyrocketed in the past few years. And I'm not kidding when I say that I think that this could also. I could see Brawl eventually becoming more popular, people more interested in it than Standard. It just feels more approachable, it feels more fun, it feels more creative. And it should be more interesting to play because of all the interesting stuff that you can do in these Brawl decks. So I'm over the moon excited about Brawl, and I hope that people out there are also getting excited about the format, are trying it out, and are playing it. There's no official support yet as far as tournaments or anything like that goes, but hopefully Wizards announcing it and just getting behind it has enough excitement out there that people are trying it out. And then maybe we can start seeing it pop up places, see it at your GP's Insight events, seeing it at local game stores as a part of Friday Night Magic. I'd love to see the support for this format grow because I think it has a lot of promise. It sounds extremely, extremely fun. So that is the Brawl format, new way to play Magic the Gathering. Speaking of new ways to play Magic the Gathering, the NDA has dropped on Magic Arena, the new video game focusing on Magic the Gathering. So previously we've had, Magic Online, which is this kind of monolithic, just sort of old-feeling program, big learning curve in kind of every aspect of that program in terms of how to play, how to find matches, what the different options are in terms of ways to play, how to get cards even. Magic Online does what it does, and lots of people put in many, many hours in Magic Online, including myself, but it certainly is not the prettiest, it's certainly not the smoothest way to play. So Magic Arena is I think, looking to kind of improve upon that, and really they're kind of going exactly for that Hearthstone model. They're giving you a real video game. It looks like a real game. It has these slick menus, these wonderful animations when you play cards and when you attack and when you move between your phases. It's fun to look at, just like Hearthstone. And, I think that will go a long ways for people that aren't necessarily entrenched in Magic Online. People that are just maybe casual Magic fans are going to be much more likely to tune into a stream of Magic Arena than a stream of Magic Online. And those streams are important because they just started this week with that NDA dropping for Magic Arena, and the streams have been popping up like crazy. People are diving into this game. And I think that will only grow as the available cards and formats and things like that in Magic Arena expand out and grow as well. I've been dabbling in Magic Arena, especially this week as the NDA has dropped, and I've been having a really good time with it. They've made a really, just a whole lot of really smart decisions with the game, and again, I really like how it looks. I like how everything fits together. The one thing that I think everyone will complain about and will have a problem with Magic Arena is the general economy, how you get the cards. they've definitely taken a bit of a Hearthstone approach where you play, you complete challenges and objectives, you get gold, and you buy booster packs. There's no way to really obtain single cards outside of what they call wild cards. So you get those in packs, and they're for certain rarities, and you can go unlock specific cards from those rarities by spending your wild cards. So there's no way to start out at Magic Arena and drop $200 and create a standard deck without any grinding. You know, I can't just go trade with a bot like I can in Magic Online. There are pros and cons to that for sure, and it's much more friendly from a beginner's standpoint to frame it a lot more like Hearthstone than Magic Online. But from, you know, a tournament grinder's perspective, someone who just wants to instantly have a deck and not have to work for it, they just want to be able to grind reps with that deck, it's certainly not for that person. So I don't see Magic Arena replacing Magic Online in that respect, but for streaming and for just casual fun play, I think Magic Arena will gobble that side of the market up. So of course, the interesting thing that Wizards will have to navigate is having enough of a player base in both places and defining what exactly each program is supposed to be good at, so that you know sort of where to show up when you want to play Magic on the computer online. But definitely very promising. If you haven't hopped into the closed beta for Magic Arena, go sign up. It is worth a play. It's worth checking out just to see exactly what they're doing and kind of where they're taking Magic the Gathering. And where they're taking Magic the Gathering, we got a little bit more of a hint of that this week, at least in paper form, when Wizards announced the signature Spellbook Jace, or rather revealed, I should say. We've known that signature Spellbook Jace was coming, and basically it is the successor to the From the Vault series, where they put out some iconic cards, and for better or worse in From the Vault, gave you a different foiling than you were used to, that the complaint is would lead to some curling of those foils. And then this is kind of the evolution of that. And this signature spellbook features iconic spells featuring everyone's favorite OP Planeswalker, Jace. Now, these cards, unlike From the Vault, where it was just basically the version of the card that you knew before, same frame and everything like that, these cards are drastically different than your usual Magic cards, and I think that they look amazing. So the frames have some extra filigree around the text boxes that looks very, very nice. They have really neat looking kind of clear mana symbols. Of course, all the cards are blue, so it looks really cool. You can kind of see through that blue mana symbol. The blue background of the cards is a lot darker than usual, has some kind of swirling black effects to make them look a bit more ominous and sinister. And the new art is also very great. It all features Jace, and they've added flavor text where appropriate, and some really great examples of flavor text, and they've left it off where appropriate as well for cards like Counterspell, where it's more striking when it doesn't have the flavor text. So all the cards look awesome. The cards that are featured, there's going to be 8 different cards in the set. We have Brainstorm, Gifts Ungiven, Negate, Counterspell, Blue Elemental Blast, Jace Beleren, Mystical Tutor, and Threads of Disloyalty. So some of the most iconic blue cards there. You know, you have Counterspell, you have Brainstorm, and it's a really cool kind of assortment collection of cards revolving around Jace. And personally, I love that Magic has been experimenting with varying up the card frames in recent years. Things like the Masterpieces, the Inventions, even the flip lands like Search for Azcanta. And now these cards here, I really like that they're throwing things against the wall, seeing what sticks. They're really mixing up the look of Magic cards. You know, I'm not saying that we should go full Pokemon where you have your EX cards where they're these crazy full art, ridiculous looking things, but I don't think every card in our decks needs to look identical, and I like giving cards from specific sets and from specific releases like this their own little identity. And it's also a really awesome thing for collectors to be collecting all of these special versions of all these cards. You can really just do awesome things with your commander deck, for example, by putting in all of these interesting versions and foil versions. So I really like that that's kind of the direction that it's been going, and I like that not every card looks the same. Now, Signature Spellbook Jace is slated for release June 15th for an MSRP of $19.99. If these are anything like the From the Vault series, it is going to be hard to get, and you'll probably find it in most places for higher than that MSRP. So your mileage may vary as we get here. The cards in the set are not the high dollar cards that some of the From the Vault series have had, but again, the new frame and the new art is going to be very exciting for people. So we'll see when we actually get closer to release what that's going to look like in terms of what you'll actually be paying for that set. Moving on from there, this week we saw the official start of Dominaria spoilers after the leak of the set, and I won't cover every card here, just wanted to highlight a few that we saw announced this week. First up is one that I'm very excited about, which is Steelleaf Champion. Now, Steelleaf Champion is 3 green mana for 5/4 Elf Knight that can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. So this card is very exciting in just a, fast aggro sense. Imagine this into Ghalta Primal Hunger. The 5 power from the Steelleaf Champion is going to accelerate you to be able to cast Ghalta so much sooner. Imagine getting Steelleaf Champion out with the new Llanowar Elves reprint at turn 2. Throw in Wayward Swordtooth to start dumping out lands, and you can get Ghalta out as early as like turn 3. It's insane. I really think that mono green, just monsters, is going to be a real deck in this upcoming standard, and it's certainly something that I'm going to be forcing whether it ends up being good or not, because gosh, doesn't that sound like the dream? A Ghalta Primal Hunger on turn 3. So I'm very excited about Steelleaf Champion and kind of what that maybe means for a mono green deck in Standard. From there, we got to see the actual art for Urza's Ruinous Blast, the awesome Noah Bradley art. Some of the coolest art and a card featuring Urza that I've seen. I really like just the devastation that is showing on the art. And again, we get a little taste of the new legendary card frame on a legendary spell this time instead of a creature or planeswalker. So very cool there. And we also got to see our second Saga enchantment, which have very strange card frames. This one is the Flames of Keld. It's a very interesting card. So again, the art looks very cool. I like that vertical look of the art. And the card itself is really, you're investing in the next 2 turns because it has you dump your hand. Obviously, it's very good if you play it and it's the only card in your hand. You don't have any cards to discard. And I can see it being very effective in giving you some more gas after you empty your hand in like a burn deck, for example, giving you that extra oomph just to close out the game. So I really like the Flames of Keld. I'm going to be brewing some decks around it, I'm sure, just to see if we can get there. And I really, again, continue to like the frame for these Saga enchantments. I think it's a really cool way to represent something slightly different in Magic. Now, from there, we're going to close the show out today with, something that's maybe not as rosy and fun. There's been a bit of controversy around the Dominaria release this week when we found out that the Buy a Box promo that's coming out with Dominaria is exclusive. You're only going to be able to get that card from the Buy a Box promotion. Now, Wizards has done this special promotion for local game stores for a while now, where they can give away a special promo card to customers that buy a full box of Magic product. And you're not going to get that when you order a box online. It's kind of an incentive for people to go into their local game stores, support their local game stores, and buy boxes there in person in your brick and mortar store. So in theory, that is a great system to have, pushing people into their local game stores. Local game stores have something that an online store doesn't that they can give away. And previously, these Buy a Box promo cards have just been foil alternate art versions of a card in the set. So if you're looking to play Magic as cheaply as possible, you can get the regular version from the set. But if you're a collector, you can seek out these buy a box promos. You can buy a box and get it that way. And they're cool, different versions of cards. So everyone's kind of happy in that aspect. Collectors are happy they have their own special version, and players are happy that it doesn't really affect the card economy of having cards that are exclusive. Now, all of that is changing for this set because the card that is the buy a box promo here is not going to be in the Dominaria booster packs. It's not going to be in the set proper. It is only coming out via the buy a box promo. The card is Fire Song and Sunspeaker, and honestly, it's very cool. I'm excited to start brewing up some commander decks focused around this card. It's a pair of Minotaur Clerics that essentially give your red spells lifelink and cause white spells that gain you life to lightning bolt something. You get to deal 3 damage to something. Cool card, very fun with commander, very satisfying build around card, but again, you can't get it anywhere else. So the supplies for this card are going to be extremely limited. You know, even if you're buying a box, you might not necessarily be buying that box in person at a local game store. And even if you are, even if this succeeds in getting you into your local game store to pre-order a box of Dominaria, these promos in past sets at least have still at least been limited. A local game store will only get a certain number. So let's say they only get 20 of those cards and they sell 40 boxes. 20 of those people are going home without the promo card. And this has lots of people upset about this general practice. People are not happy about these cards being exclusive, not in booster packs. They're worried about the price just driving to the sky if the card becomes in high demand, if it becomes a popular commander, or heaven forbid, if it starts seeing actual constructed play in Standard, we're going to see that price just go through the roof because this is the only way to obtain the card. So people definitely complained about this, and in such volume that Mark Rosewater, the head designer of Magic, says that, you know, your feedback has been heard, it's been passed along. They are aware that people are unhappy about this change. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means that there's a change for Fire Song and Sunspeaker here, or if they just won't do this again, or if they're just going to ignore all that feedback and continue down this practice. But it definitely is a bit scary in terms of like, oh, I hopefully that card doesn't become a real thing because it's going to be just astronomically priced otherwise. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you do want to for sure secure a Fire Song and Sunspeaker, consider buying a box from your local game store just to support at the very least. But again, keep in mind, this might be a card that is hard to obtain if you don't obtain it up front. So that is the news of the week for Magic the Gathering. Thank you very much for joining me here on the show. Make sure that you tune in again next week for another edition of This Week in Magic. And of course, check out Pretty Decent every single day for just general entertainment, pop culture, comics, video game, news. We talk about all kinds of fun and exciting stuff. You can find all the videos that Pretty Decent puts out, including This Week in Magic, on the YouTube channel, which is found at prettydecent.com/video. And of course, subscribe to the Pretty Decent podcast and check out Pretty Decent inside the Anchor app. So I'll be back next week for more Magic news. Have a week, everybody. Peace.